What's up? We are back with
That
episode number I already forgot what it
274.
was. 274.
I'm just cracking up because that new intro for the StreamYard thing is just so nice and grocery store-ish.
What's up, Damien Hair Metal?
It's like we're in the meat section of the Kroger.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But we need to fix a few things on the show. Like I said, we never said we're professionals. First of all, it doesn't even have Kevin on it. It still has Rob, and Rob comes once a year, so
yeah. Well, no one ever accused us of production value, so let's just not get too far ahead of the.
It's rawness.
But watch this when we put it. Ooh.
Oh.
All right, I got
Tony Clemens here
now too.
If Tony Clemens is here, then we need to clean up our act
now too.
Tony Clemens here. Hello, fellas. What's up, Tony?
Time to clean it up. Get professional.
All right, on. Well, anybody got anything they need to say before we get into showing off new crap and what's spinning?
Well, I was gonna say this before we got started, and I hope there's no objections. So I'll put everybody on the spot. But Brandon Baddock, the comedian that I sent you the little clip to, he's planning on joining us next week. Whether we're just talking about records or I'll have him introduce himself. But he's a pretty capable, funny guy, and he is a metalhead. So I thought it'd be fun to have him on. And the world gets a lot smaller when you're a metalhead. So anyway, so that'll be next week's show. We'll have funny man Brandon Baddock from the Disturbing the Priest podcast. And then, like I said, that's how he makes his living. He's a professional comedian. And if you watch the clip, you'll see that, he's pretty funny.
He had to crowd roll anyway, from what I saw.
Yeah. Right on.
Right on.
That's all I got.
You got anything, Steve?
Nope. Let's do it.
Kev?
Nope. Been pretty quiet up here.
Yeah. Same here. I just been working my tail off. So,
hey, Kevin, what are you going to do about that Dark Angel thing? Did you see that Dark Angel, Hyrax? Who else was on that? It was amazing.
We were talking about violence.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah. We just talked about that.
Segerreich and Void.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And then I think
it's about a 5-hour drive for me. But I was just telling them 5 days before the show, I'm seeing Dream Theater. Then 2 days before the show is Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. So I don't know if I'm going to want to make that drive for a third concert in a week. Yeah, that's a lot of driving. About 4.5 hours for me to go down to Minneapolis. So and usually I go with a friend of mine, and I'm not sure if he's going or not. So I haven't really asked him yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're going to a show Friday night, right? Carcass?
Oh yeah, Gamma Side, Iron Jaw, Rotting Corpse, Lame of God, Chemicost. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong. I mean,
this Iron Jaw. You mean this Iron Jaw?
Yes, that Iron Jaw. And everyone's going to, from what I understand, I talked to Scott earlier in the week. And, I guess that would have been yesterday. But he said that they're going to play shorter sets, 30-minute sets or whatever. They're going to have a common kit. They're going to run it kind of like a fest. So, but there's going to be like an all-star jam at the very end.
I've seen a lot more bands doing the common kit lately, more than I ever have. Like the last 3 shows that I've been to, where it wasn't like huge bands, it was a common kit. Like when I saw Satan, all 4 bands used the Trevor Church's kit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, believe me, after, Henry's kit was basically a 5-piece, but I mean, we're talking about a 24-inch kick and floor toms as mounted toms. I mean, and plus that cymbal case of his. You actually pulled the cymbal case up to the stage there in Atlanta, and that thing must weigh 150 pounds.
Yeah, that's no joke.
so if it's if it's a way to save space and weight and all that stuff, man, speaking of Henry, I just
Well, it's
talked to
also
him.
nice because it saves 40 minutes in between bands. You know what I mean?
Right.
35 minutes in between bands.
Yeah, I did talk to Henry this morning. They're actually back from Europe, and what a nightmare. If anyone's traveling to Europe, just buyer beware. American Airlines canceled 80% of their flights to Europe from the United States to and from, and it caused a lot of issues. So just make sure you're out in front of it if you're traveling overseas. But anyway, other than that,
Damien Hairmetal said, "Rest in peace, David Kath."
Was he in the new movie? Have they filmed that yet? The new Spinal Tap?
I think the new Spinal Tap's already recorded, but I don't know if he was in it or not. He was the original keyboard player, right?
I can't remember. I know he was one of the guys. I don't remember which one it was, though.
I think he was the keyboard player, yeah. Because he wasn't one of the main four guys.
No.
But still, he was pretty funny.
On bass keyboard?
Yeah.
The exploding drummers and the bass keyboard and the Stonehenge. I mean, good grief. Could it get any more funny than that?
We did get a request. Everybody was asking us, you guys should talk about the Black Sabbath last show. And I was like, okay. But nah.
Yeah, you want to know what it is? A giant cash grab. I hope the charity actually got some money, and I thought that it sounded not good. I'll be happy. I'm happy with seeing the end twice, at the very beginning and the very tail end, and I'm good with that.
I thought one of the better parts was, what's the young dude, the Youngblood kid?
Youngblood.
Yeah.
He killed it, but Lizzie Hale, I thought she sounded horrible. One of the cool things was the Jack Black with Tom Morello's son. Tom Morello's son was really good. That 80% of the people that were there had no reason to be there. Having the Blink 182 drummer there was stupid. Having Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers. I don't know. It was all super gimmicky and very unmetal, in my opinion.
I never even watched one.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I've just seen all the clips that pop up all over YouTube and Facebook and everything else.
Yeah, that's about all I've seen. And I've seen, some good, some bad, some in betweens, about the show. But I mean,
the Pearl Jam, the Judas Priest was good. I saw that full, the full song they did.
But if you paid
Steven Tyler did great.
Yeah, Steven Tyler sounded fantastic. That shocked me.
Yeah, I mean, he was having some audio issues. Apparently, the whole band they couldn't hear themselves on the stage.
Well, he said before, he does good. He does his voice does fine doing like one-off shows and songs here and there, but he can't string together a whole tour, is what he was saying, or his voice after a couple shows is gone.
Yep. Well, we'll get out of that since that's not what the show is about. But before we do, we talked
about it though.
We did. We talked about it. So there you go. But for now, we got to do picks of the week.
Okay, picks of the week. This is going to be a real shocker, I think.
I doubt it.
I've sort of been in this crazy 70s jazz fusion mode, and I was playing Heavy Metal Santa at County Line Records over here at our local record store on Saturday, and came across an old favorite of mine, Diodato. He's an Italian keyboard player, heavy prog fusion, whatever. This actually has the theme song to the 2001: A Space Odyssey. I remember as a kid, after I wore out all the Chick Corea stuff and Stanley Clarke and Al Di Meola and Lenny White, I gravitated to this and Jean-Luc Ponty. So I saw this. What's that?
Did you do any Mahavishnu?
Oh yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. All that stuff is prominent in my collection, and I'm not getting rid of those records. But I had a play copy of this that was so trashed I just stopped listening to it. But this is a 180 gram remaster on green and yellow marbles. It's an audiophile pressing, and it really sounds, it's the music on vinyl presentation, and it's really good. So Diodato, this is Prelude, which I think is his third one, but they're all decent. He got really 80s disco-y, moving into the 80s and into the early 90s. So steer away from this, but anything in the 70s, grab it because they're all killer. But my metal pick of the week is an obscure band from Sweden called Ossuarium, and this would be the equivalent to Mortiferum or Blood Incantation here in the States, but this is another $20 spin, so you pretty much know what you're getting with that label. It's going to be heavy, high quality sound, and these guys are phenomenal. It's akin to the Funeral Doom thing. In fact, when Brandon Baddock is on, I did a podcast with him about 90s Doom, but this stuff is the result of all that 90s Doom stuff. And but it's really, really good. Ossuarium, Ossuarium, for those spelling at home and taking notes. This is called Living Tomb. They've got a couple of demos out and some tapes. I've got those too, but man, this thing is so crushing and killer. And it fills the gap. I'm waiting for the new Mortiferum to come out, and this will definitely fill the gap. So Ossuarium, Living Tomb, and Diodato's masterpiece, Prelude, are my picks of the week.
Right on.
Right on.
Cool. Well, then let's get into the show. So we're, like I said, wait, let me pull the banner. Let me be professional here. We're in episode number 274, and basically we're just going to be record geeks for the next however long we have left, 45 minutes, showing off stuff we're listening to, playing, that kind of stuff. So we're just going to go round and round and round. So everybody show a record. We'll just keep going around and showing a record or a CD that you've been listening to. And we'll start with Steve and go clockwise.
Man, I just found this one. This is also kind of a pick of the week type deal too. 1971. This actually recorded in 69, I believe. Does it say? I'm pretty sure it was recorded in 69 though. So this was Fleetwood Mac when they were a hard blues band. Peter Green still here. This is called Fleetwood Mac in Chicago. This is a double live. But what's cool about this is you got Otis Spawn, you've got Willie Dixon, you've got Shaky Horton, Guitar Buddy, Honey Boy Edwards all make appearances on here, and they're just hitting some of the classic blues. And Peter Green's just murdering it on here. I found this a sealed copy for $15 of the original 71 press and couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But man, this is so good. And if you guys haven't checked out the early Peter Green era Fleetwood Mac, I mean, he wrote Green Monalishi. I think his version of Green Monalishi is actually heavier than Judas Priest's. It's definitely darker. The original Black Magic Woman was Peter Green and Fleetwood Mac. Just so good. So there's actually a greatest hits album with a red cover from like 71 or 72, and it's all that early stuff, straight up heavy blues, and it's all fantastic. So that's where I'll start off.
Got to comment on your shirt, Steve. Tony Clemson, you like your shirt.
Man, I was blown away. I told Scott I went to see them with they opened for Coroner. Coroner played in the U.S. for the first time in almost 30 years. And Deceased was the opener. I was really excited to see Coroner. I've always liked Deceased. Deceased stole the show. Deceased was so good live. And Coroner is one of my all-time favorites. I love tech thrash. Unfortunately, Coroner just stands in one spot the whole show. And after King Fowley was on right before that, that guy's a madman on stage, bouncing all over the place. If you know him, he's like 400 pounds. And he moves like an 80-pound guy. It was a fantastic show. They just blew me away.
So he's just the front man. He wasn't playing drums.
No, he doesn't play. He plays drums in October 31.
October 31,
yeah. I thought he played drums in Deceased once in a while too.
And actually, a couple of the guys in his band are local here. I think is he North Carolina? No, where's he from?
Virginia.
Virginia or Ohio. Yeah,
like a couple of guys in this band are local here, though, and I think a couple are from North Carolina. But they play here pretty regularly. I just hadn't seen them live, and man, they like I said, if you get a chance to see them, don't miss it. It's fantastic. I actually talked to him for about half an hour unfortunately, he won't do October 31 again. He said he'd love to, but the other guy that co-wrote everything with him passed away, and just as a tribute, I guess he's decided to retire it. So, but man, great show. And that first, all the Deceased records they're consistently fantastic records, but that first record is just one of those all-time classics, man.
Where did they play?
They played at right down the road from where we were at the Earl.
Okay.
Which is the cool thing about the Earl is it's a small stage. It's literally like 10 inches off the ground. So when I say that you can reach out and touch the band, you can reach out and touch the band. And I've seen Raven. I've seen so many fantastic bands there. It's one of my favorite spots to see shows. But it's a small place. It's like maybe a 250 seater, maybe 300 people you can fit in there.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. And that's jam packed. And that place that night, it was jam packed. Like there was no breathing room.
Cool.
Yeah. King is a cool guy. I've talked to him many times.
I interviewed him a couple times, probably, God, I want to say back in probably the early teens at least.
Yeah.
Right on. What do you got, Kev? What do you got for us?
Well, we're going to keep in the same vein of King Foley, and I just happened to pick up this Doomstone. If you know King and if you follow him on Facebook, you know he posts a lot of music for sale. And this was kind of one that he really didn't put online, but he kind of found some extra copies that he had, and you had to snag them up. Well, I snagged one of these up from 94, I believe, recorded in 93. But this is those whom Satan hath joined. I mean, this is a mix of death, thrash. I mean, this is all over. I mean, this is good. The inner label is just crazy. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this is the first one they put out. They have another one out. I think it was called Satan Void. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, Satan Void. But a lot of these are hard to find nowadays.
So yeah, so it's Doomstone, not Tombstone, right?
Doomstone, right?
There you go.
I remember him talking about it a number of years ago. And I had never heard of it, but I had been following a lot of October 31 at the time and managed to pick up all their stuff. And, you know, then the Deceased came and a lot of other stuff. So, but that was one of his early bands. At least I think it was. Yeah, 93. So
there it is. Doomstone. Right on. What you got for us, Carcass?
Well, I'm going to be completely off the reservation and doing something so unthinkable for me. I'm on a budget, so I have to be mindful of where I spend my money. But I'm always on the hunt for music, and so I've gone back and kind of looked at my back catalog of things. But if we're staying in kind of the thrash and the death thrash genre, I circled a few. I made a list because I've been downloading a lot of stuff because it's cheap, and then it helps me stay in my budget. So for the price of 5 or 8 downloads, that would be the price of one tape these days. And in fact, I went to one of the bands I'm going to suggest is called Pneuma Hagian. It's Pneuma, and then the second word is Hagion. They're from Houston, and dude, they are brilliant. You really need to check them out. If you kind of a death symbolic or death in between death symbolic and death human, but heavier than that. And the album is From Beyond from 2024. They're on an Italian label that wanted $27 to ship a $28 record, and I just couldn't. So I downloaded it for $4, and it's worth every penny. But as far as the thrash part, I've been listening a lot to the Hyrax Faster Than Death. I kind of caught that one before I was under budget constraints. Gamma Side's Victims of Science, and Scott, the one you put out is way, way better than the original as far as sound. I can't even listen to the Wild Rags version. I have to listen to the hopped up Rob Colwell version because it just sounds that much better. And there's a Mexican band called Imperialist. Keep an eye out for them. Quantum Annexation from 2015. It is an absolute ripper. And then one other one that's about to come out is the new Death Hammer from Norway. It's called Crimson Dawn. I got privy to a couple of extra tracks, and man, that thing might be the best thing that they have come out with in about 5 or 6 years. But so keep an eye out for those, and if knowing that especially if you're on Bandcamp, if you're buying the download, that the band's getting paid everything that you give them, and plus they give you the option to tip the band, basically.
Yeah.
So if it's $4.95, I usually just put $6 and tip them $1.05, just to make it even. But it's an inexpensive way to still have the music. Obviously, I would prefer to have like that new Mahasian. I want that record, I really do. I'm going to save my money and see if they're still available. But $55 and it ships from overseas. It's just, I don't know. I may have to wait on that one. But like I said, Hyrax, Imperialist, Gamacide, and the new Death Hammer that's about to come out. They've been in my player, not on my turntable, but in my player. Well, the Hyrax is on my turntable, but anyway.
Right on.
So what about you, Scott?
I'll stick with the same styles of music here. How about the new Gruesome?
Oh yeah, that thing
I'm
really.
I'm really digging this album. I mean, I heard when I first got it, I just do it once and I posted it online. And people were like, "Oh, it's okay," and a couple guys were like, "It's generic." And there's better death metal out there. I don't know what the heck people were talking about. This thing's fantastic. I mean, if you like death, that early thrash death mix that Chuck kind of invented.
You mentioned them. This was one.
Dude, that's a ripper too.
They're both great. All of them are good. I know.
Shred. Oh, and people don't realize. I mean, they were basically a tribute to death when they came out. That was their entire goal, was to bring back that old school death sound from the late '80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what the people who said it's generic and there's better death metal out there, or whatever, but I think it's fantastic.
Well,
I don't know if they're going to continue to go down the death road, but if they do, that means they're going to get more proggy and more thrashy, right? I mean, that's kind of what death is.
Yeah, but don't rule out the fact that they've got genetics tied to Exhumed also, which they've never put out a bad record, in my opinion. Their
EPs are fantastic too. They're just one of those. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
right on. What you got, Steve?
So somebody had just asked, talked about getting stuff signed. So this is the original, or the first Deceased record. I got King to sign it. So I just wanted to show that real quick. Somebody mentioned it, but I also, have you checked these guys out yet, John? What is it? Imperial Triumphant?
No.
So these guys it's pretty brutal death metal, but these guys are jazz musicians. So they'll be playing this hardcore death metal, and they'll just go into these jazz fills and these jazz soloing and stuff. It's really fucking cool. It kind of blew me away, and I didn't like it the first time I heard it, and it just kind of grew on me, and now I play this album pretty regularly. But really cool artwork. They got some videos of them playing too, but definitely check them out. It's Imperial Triumphant. I didn't buy this when it came out because it was like $45-$50 everywhere I saw it, but one of my local shops got a used copy for $20, so I grabbed it. I've been looking for this for a while, though.
Good deal. What you got, Kev?
Well, I got a band out of Colorado. Actually, a new band. Band is called Cobranoid. Kind of a groove metal, stoner metal, doom metal band, all in one. It's only got 6 tracks on this, but side 2 is absolutely killer guitar work on this. But this is their only release. There is a compilation out there of stoner and doom bands that this band is part of, but this really surprised me. This is going to be probably on my list this year, but very, very surprised about this. If you like groove metal, stoner metal, you'll definitely like this.
Right on.
I have it circled. I haven't delved into it yet, but I have it circled.
I wrote it down when you showed it to me online. But yeah, right on. What you got for us, John?
Well,
Doesn't
once
have to be new
again,
stuff. Just anything you're listening to.
well, I've been listening to a lot of new stuff because in the Crypt, the whole premise of the Crypt is I want to play stuff that nobody else has heard that might strike a nerve with somebody, and they might say, "Hey, that's pretty cool. I never would have even thought," because that's how I love to discover music. But Oxygen Destroyer, anybody? Anybody's ever okay? Guardian of the Universe from 2024, and then I come to find out after talking with Tony Reed that is his nephew. They're from Seattle, Tacoma area, whatever. But Oxygen Destroyer, Guardian of the Universe, yes, it has the Gamera Godzilla vibe to it, but it is ripping necro death thrash. That and how about another one? Algebra. Anybody?
Yes,
I've heard Algebra.
I like Algebra. Matter of fact, I just showed
Chioptera from 2022. You never thought you'd use Algebra once you left high school. Well, you're going to use this one. This thing is an absolute shredder. I was shocked how good it was. And while Scott's probably grabbing 15 copies of everything they own.
no, this is one album. This is actually the only one I have so far. I just recently discovered him.
That thing rules. I've been playing tracks off of it for the last 3 weeks in a row in the Crypt. And then one more for you that's so weird because I started reading, kind of like doing a deep dive on where to find music. And evidently, in the Jewish community, there is a heavy metal scene over in the Middle East and Israel, and it's kind of gravitated over to the States. But there's a band called Shaidim, Sheidim, Shrines of the Void. It's on Dark Descent Records. This thing absolutely rips. It sounds like Immortal Damned in Black, except for even more thrashy than that. So I didn't even realize there was an underground Jewish speed thrash death metal scene, but evidently Shaidim is at the tip of the spear on that one. So yeah, find it if you can. I know you can download it, but Dark Descent Records has free. Once again, they have free comps. You can just go in there and name your price or not pay at all, and just download 40 bands you've never heard of before.
Right on. I'm going to show a few CDs quickly. You guys, I think I said last week, I went on vacation the week before last, and the first day of vacation, my wife and I and some friends, we went to see Peter Frampton, and it was fantastic. I'm still geeked out about how good the show was, and I've been on a Frampton and Humble Pie kick ever since. Well, and I was on a Humble Pie kick long before I saw the Frampton show, but I didn't even realize he had this album out, but I picked this one up on CD because I couldn't find the vinyl for under $50. And then, of course, right after the CD arrived, I found a copy online for like $25, so I grabbed it. But this is the Peter Frampton band. It's just all classic blues songs, and man, his guitar playing is superb on this thing, and his voice sounds great. Quite a little bit of annoyance on the CD itself to me is nice picture of the band on the back. Where's the track listing at? Not there. I hate when they don't have the CD track on the back of this anyhow. But this one I've listened to a lot, and I don't have the vinyl yet. It's not shipped, but the CD, I just happened to be out in California during my vacation, so I was able to grab a copy of this from Rox Records. But this is the new Reign of Glory, and I'm loving this album. It's so freaking good. The vocals are stellar by I forgot his name already, like an idiot. Hang on. Mark Bowles. Mark Bowles, who sang on, a bunch of Yngwie's albums and a lot of other people's albums. But yeah, bass player is Roger Dale Martin from Die Happy, Vengeance, and whatnot. And then Nick Layton on guitar from, I forgot the name of his band. You guys know who Nick Layton is? Of course not, because I can't remember it either. But anyhow, regardless, this is their second album. And yeah, I've just been listening to it nonstop in my car. So looking forward to the vinyls coming out soon. I don't know how I ignored this band for so long, but I grabbed this Diamond Plate CD recently.
That's a ripper, man.
You bet.
Generation Y. Just straight up there. And basically, I picked this up because I've been loving the Diamond Plate is now pretty much called, Kevin, help me out. What's the name of the band that Diamond Plate became? Come on, Misfire. There you go. Misfire. Yeah, so it's pretty much Misfire with a different vocalist. So I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. So I picked this up really cheap, and I was like, this is freaking fantastic.
That's from like 06 or 04
that
or
Misfire.
something.
That one,
This one here looks like, I don't know. I can't see it. It's a itty bitty little type, and my magnifying glass not in front of me, so I can't see it.
Oh well, no worries.
I think they put out 3 albums.
Diamond Plate.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3. Yeah,
they put out an EP and then 2 full length, I believe.
And here's one more CD I'll show real quick. But I've listened to this one 8, 9 times. And I just got it a little over a week ago. This is Undoubting Thomas. It's prog rock. It's not metal whatsoever. It's a mixture of keyboards and guitars, but it kind of, if I was to describe it as something, it kind of reminds me of a mix of Marillion and Kansas, and with heavy Neil Morse influences in the whole thing. But it's just old school prog rock from Thomas McKeon. There's Thomas there, who has been in other bands too. Of course, I didn't bother to look up the names of those bands before the show started because that would be professional. We're not professionals, so
no way.
But yeah, this thing is. I guess I wasn't expecting much from it, so when I got it and listened to it, it just blew me away. I was just really digging it, and this is actually a Rocks Records release. So anyhow, there's some CDs I've been listening to. And I don't care if people like Peter Frampton or not. I think Peter Frampton's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with him.
Absolutely.
I've posted him a few times just on Facebook. And of course, immediately I get the poser. The poser are people who listen to music because they care about what other people think. I could care less.
Those are the same people that think that the Black album by Metallica is their first one because it's self-titled. Just don't even pay attention to them.
And we all know that their best album is Saint Anger. So,
of course, the heaviest.
Actually,
thing
look, I got I got a brand new Metallica hat.
Poser. Oh, I mean, that's cool.
What you got, Steve?
So Scott and I have both talked about Jolly Roger Records before over the years, and they have slowly been releasing some of the never on vinyl pressings of one of our favorite power metal bands, Gravedigger, and they've released a couple more. And so first up, we've got the Prey EP on vinyl for the first time. Just, I mean, fantastic. You can't go wrong with the Grave. They're one of the few bands that, even though they've kept going with the European power metal, they just do it right. And it's not just the constant double bass. There's a lot of dynamics to their sound. But the one I was really looking forward to is The Clan Will Rise Again. The 3 Clan albums are the best albums that Gravedigger's released. They're all fantastic. And they were all in the $150 to $200 price range because they pressed them once and they didn't press them again. So now you can get it for $25. I think I got it from Heavy Metal Museum. He's one of the distributors here in the U.S. But
I buy from him a lot.
Man, these Clan albums, all 3 of them are just killer. A couple years ago, they did the final Clan album, and that was my number 1 album of the year for the year that came out. Was that 2 or 3 years ago, Scott?
Yeah.
But man, killer stuff.
Right on.
You're up, Kev.
Let me show these real quick.
Never mind.
A couple days ago. These are singles. So this was a series called Speed and Spikes, and they were kind of introducing lesser known thrash bands for the most part. And it was done by Relapse. I think this was about 15 years ago. But they only did like 1,000 of each one. I can't really see the year on the back. But I found these for $5 a piece. So this is volume 2. And this one has Absu and Rumpelstiltskin's Grinder on it.
Is it colored vinyl?
Yeah, this one is.
All mine are colored.
Oh, you've got the series? Yeah, this one's red. And then the one that I really wanted was Early Man, which is a really good thrash band. They did a couple albums and they kind of disappeared. And then Rammer, who Scott turned me on to, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago.
Yep.
And this is the one I really wanted because I had never seen this Rammer single before. And that one's on Orange Splatter vinyl. So I'll be looking. I think there's 4 in this series, if I remember correctly. So I'll be looking for the others as well.
I think there's 7.
Oh,
yeah,
is
there's.
there?
I was
Okay,
gonna
there
say
you
there's that. There's Toxic Holocaust, Witch Haven,
Okay.
Avenger of Blood.
Avenger of Blood. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I'll
Shaman.
definitely be looking for the rest. But man, $5 a piece, I couldn't pass those up. And
No
If you don't-
way.
Rammer.
Those are killer.
If you don't have the Avenger of Blood one, I probably shouldn't say this live, but there's a copy, real cheap copy right now in mint condition of one of the more rare colors on eBay.
Okay.
So, yep. But right on.
There's nothing
Kev,
wrong with
go ahead.
that.
No, not Rammer.
Rammer.
Different band.
Rammer, yeah. Rammer's a thrash band pushing a little towards death metal, but mostly sticking
Canadian. In fact,
Yeah, they're Canadian. Yeah.
the drummer and bass player used to be the foundation of Toxic Holocaust when Joel was still playing guitar.
I happened to find a Rammer album up in Fargo here. I mean, in a used store that never really carries any metal or anything. And I was going through it, and to my surprise, there was some Rammer. I mean, out of the blue. Kind of
Well,
crazy.
you're near where they live, so that's probably your benefit there.
No, I don't. Well, you never know. I don't know where they're exactly from up there, but anyway. Well, I have been getting into some European power metal. I think you got into some Gravedigger. I just picked up this new War Kings Armageddon album. This is their 5th album, kind of an international group. I actually really don't know their names. They always go by different. I think one is called Victim, but that just came out here probably a couple weeks back. But a lot of their names, I mean, the Tribune is War Chants, the Crusader is Steelwing, the Viking is Battle Axe, and the Spartan is War Drum. So they're, I mean, international band. They think their themes are more on warriors and war. If you like Hammerfall, maybe some Firewind, you'll definitely like War Kings. Their latest one, they actually have 5. Like I said, I went back and I listened to their last one, which was Morgana. They have some of the greatest artwork. All their albums are really kind of like this, but if I was to say anything, this is probably my favorite one on as far as cover art. But they put like 3 years in between this one and their latest one, and you can definitely tell they put in a lot more effort. I think they were kind of pumping them out really quick. 2018, 2020, 21, and I think 22 was their last release. But if you like European power metal in the vein of Hammerfall, check them out.
Cool. John?
Someone
Marcus?
with someone dropping a Dim Mock reference. Man, that's a blast from the past. That Dim Mock was remnants of what was it? Ripping Corpse and Revenant. Hank Vegian, the guitarist, singer, and main songwriter for Revenant, was
That's
part
a
of that.
great band name too.
Dim Mock.
Dim Mock, yeah, Death Touch.
Death Touch, yeah. Anyway, well, once again, I've been downloading a bunch of stuff. Well, although I did, I saw a guy in Syracuse on the Pentagram thing. Just one dude. The band's called Mountain of Woe. If you can find it, download it. It's very trippy. It's one guy in a guitar and a board of effects, and he's got a drum machine, but it's very down low, kind of a chill type thing, kind of an electric soundscape, but it's heavy enough to where it'll keep your interest. So the tape that I got from him was a DIY thing with the cover and everything. He hand drew the cover on each one, but it's called Blooming. But you can get them on Bandcamp. So Mountain of Woe Blooming, highly recommended. It's kind of different. And Steve-O, you said something about guys, jazz musicians playing in death metal, kind of like the Tomb Mold. That's what I really like about their newest one, is they have some of those elements dropping in there. But there's one called Bio Noise Generator, BYO noise generator, all one word. Brand new record called Subnormal Dives, and it's straight up John Zorn playing Peeling Flesh and Repulsion.
Well, and Rivers of Nile did that a few years ago with where the owls know where the owls know your name, and they had that Bowie-esque jazz sax on the tracks. It was fantastic.
I've really been enjoying that. It's so eclectic, weird, and different, and it just sort of breaks the mold of everybody starting to sound the same. In that same vein, there's a Russian band called Bong Tower. Check out everything that they've put out. The Oscillator 1 and 2 are phenomenal. Altered States is one I just downloaded. It was basically free. Just tip the band. And there's one that I got to wait till I break the piggy bank open, but it's got a female vocalist on it. It sounds really, really cool. And then our local shoegaze metal heroes, Bleed, finally put out a full-length record. It's really cool. It's it's not gurgling and gargling, but it's high quality, super high production, kind of sweet metal, for lack of a better term. And then the last but not least, Puke Wraith and Intestinal Hex from I think they're from Toronto. Anyway, they put out a split called Medieval Grime, and they each alternate tracks that sort of blend one into the other. It's like one band, Puke Wraith, will take part 1, and then Intestinal Hex will take part 2, and then that fills up each side of the record. So I've been heavy.
Puke what?
Wraith, Pukerer Wraith, Puke Wraith, and then Intestinal Hex. You almost have to be a doctor to listen to death metal these days. But Medieval Grime is the name of the record, and Intestinal Hex has a full length out called "The Exalted Chambers of Abhorrence," which is as brutal as it sounds.
Well, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Marcus, who's checking in here from Project Gemini. I think we talked about Project Gemini just like a week or two ago, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, what's up, Mark?
Yeah. Mark from Project Gemini, another Canadian, I don't know, prog metal band, prog rock band, whatever you want to call them. But all right, well, I've been on a weird old school rock kick lately, so I've been listening to a lot of that kind of stuff on top of metal and thrash and stuff like that. But I mean, I work in my office all day long, so I'm listening to music all day while I'm working. But I got into a huge, and this is very rare for me, but I got into a huge Stones kick, and I've been listening to a lot of the '60s Stones stuff. So this is just a few of the ones I listen to. Flowers, It's Only Rock and Roll. This one's, of course, a out and out classic. Actually, I have the Let It Bleed box set, which is fantastic for Let It Bleed. And then
one of my favorite albums,
Out of Bounds, Out of Our Heads. So just a few, but every day I've been pretty much pulling out another Rolling Stones album and giving it a spin. I just got in the mood for it. So
well, how do you feel about their like mid '80s stuff, like Some Girls and Tattoo You? And
I love Some Girls. I love Tattoo You. Emotional Rescue is great too. After that, there's not as much stuff that I'm into. I don't know. It's just got a little.
Their last album was actually a really good album.
I've heard Diamonds is great. I still don't have it, but
yeah, I was blown away by how good that was. I don't know what's up with
really
these bands. Scorpions did it with their last record, shocked me with a killer album. Alice Cooper did it with Detroit Tells, one of his best albums since the 70s. I mean, some of these guys are just putting out amazing stuff out of nowhere.
Yeah, I need to get the new album. I haven't got it yet. But
speaking of, anybody interested in seeing their 60th anniversary last final chapter, tete-a-tete, coup d'etat, whatever? Scorpions?
Stones?
Oh,
Scorpions.
If they come near here, I'll go.
I've seen them a few times, but I doubt they're coming near here. But then also I'll show these real quick. Like I said, I've been on a Frampton and Humble Pie kick, so I had a really beat up copy of this, and I found this really good one on eBay for I think $8. I mean, this thing sounds like it was never played in its original original pressing. So, but I had to get a copy because Frampton played Shine On live when we'd see him. He played 3 or 4 Humble Pie tracks, which was surprising because he hardly ever plays Humble Pie stuff, and it sounded great. And then this is one you just never find in good shape, but I got a reissue. That's great too. Yep. These two I'm showing are both, when Frampton was still in the band. So
yeah.
Frampton and
that's my
of course,
favorite Humble Pie right there. That's their
Steve,
best record, in my opinion.
And this is a recent music on vinyl reissue. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I love.
You just never see this in good shape. It's always tore up, or the cover looks like someone pissed on it. It's just terrible.
That's back when people played records, man.
Yeah.
I played my records and they didn't look like that.
I would say the Stones are definitely older than the Scorpions. The Stones have been around like 10 years longer.
Oh yeah, the Stones have been around since the early mid 60s.
About 62.
So somebody asked about non-metal. So I was in Florida last week and I was at a local shop. I was shocked to find both of these, but this is an OG UK pressing of Killing Joke.
That's a good one. Man.
Fantastic out. Their first 2 albums, if you're into punk or post-punk, they're both must-haves. But man, this is just one of those classic records. Man, I was blown away to find this. And then on the goth side, the Bauhaus self-titled. This is a first UK pressing that's in pretty much mint condition that I found too. And I've been playing both of these quite a bit too. But back to the metal. I've been trying to...
Let me jump in real quick, Steve. Rolling Stones formed in 1962. I just looked it up. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't think the Scorpions put out a record until, what, 69?
I thought it was 71.
Yeah.
So I think they recorded Lonesome Crow in 69 and it came out in the States in 70. But
so I've been working on getting so I've got all the originals of all the Municipal Waste albums. I've been trying to get all the EPs and singles, which are hard to find, and some of them go for pretty crazy money. But finally found a copy of The Last Rager, which is 2018 or 19 when this one came out. I actually saw him on tour that year for the first time, and man, if you get a chance to see Municipal Waste live, you will not be disappointed. Every time I've seen them, it's been a killer show, and they've outplayed a couple of much bigger bands as well when they opened for them. So
nice. What you got, Kev?
Well, I got a few CDs been playing here in the truck. Go buy them real quick here. The Fear Not. Been playing.
Yeah, that's great Southern metal.
Yeah, I was surprised. I love the cover, man. I love the cover.
Thank you. It's mine.
Even their last one, they got away from metal, and I really liked that. It was more of a straight up Southern rock album, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, this was a little heavier, but it's still really good.
Joe Stump, Tower of Babel, Days of Thunder. If you like Deep Purple, Richie Blackmore, definitely the second half of this is where it really shines the most on this.
And who's he playing with now? I just saw him live. He's playing with what's Yngwie's old band?
Alcatraz.
He's the guitar. He's the Yngwie in Alcatraz right now.
But this is the second Tower of Babel. So, and then of course he's got the Reign of Fury and a bunch of other stuff, or Reign of Terror. I've been listening some Fatal Force, some
that's a good one.
That's a ripper, yeah.
Mid-80s thrash.
I love that album cover too.
Some Mind Wars, some thrash. Guitarist from Holy Terror, his new band here. I think this is this might be their second release. They're based out of LA. The first Warsenal. This thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Aren't they Polish?
Killer stuff.
Warsenal, I think.
Canada.
Oh, they're Canadian? Okay.
Yep. They kind of describe their music as more of a deeper underground thrash, but to me it's just regular thrash. But good stuff. This is their first release. Came out, I think, what was it? About 2018, I think. 15. Some Game Over.
Hard to argue that one.
Yeah. Been playing a lot of this lately, even their other two. I'm still waiting on one to arrive, but this is the only one I don't think is on vinyl. I think this is the only one on CD.
Check again. I think I've seen it on vinyl, but maybe you're right.
And then I've been playing Where Evil Follows. Toby Knapp, if you're familiar with Onward, and a bunch of other bands. I mean,
he's an old shrapnel.
It's heavy metal, but I mean, I really like. This is a really strong effort. This just came out this year too. If you've ever heard them, if you haven't, check them out. You'll be impressed.
He's an old shrapnel shredder from that Shrapnel label out in Novato, California.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay, let's see. Black Shroud. Anybody heard of them?
Yep.
Black Shroud, the Archaic Horrors from 2024. Phobophobic, Enveloping Absurdity. That's another killer death metal band. And my favorite title of the week is Regurgitated Guts, Esophageal Mutilation. And yes, it sounds just exactly like that. And then I've got a shout out to the Necrotic Altar guys in Springfield, Missouri. They are in studio right now, and I'm pretty geeked that they will be coming out with new music here soon. And I've played every song, all 4 songs on the demo 4 weeks in a row. So I'm geeked to have new music from them. And then something you might like, Kevin, Critical Defiance.
Oh yeah.
No Life Forms from 2022. That is a ripper too. So any of those are all good recommendations.
I think they have a new album coming out. In fact,
they do have a new album coming out, which is fine by me because they're really good.
So Greg just mentioned the Alcatraz and Girl School show. I saw that. I saw him on that tour too. And funny enough, I sent a picture to a couple people. Girl School was in the middle of the audience, and nobody knew who it was because they just looked like a bunch of old. They weren't dressed in any of their heavy metal stuff. It literally looked like a bunch of grandmas in the middle of the audience, and everybody was there. They weren't there to see Alcatraz. They were there to see Girl School, you know. And it was all these young girls, and a couple of them were giggling afterwards because they were right next to them and didn't even realize it. But I just thought that was funny.
Oh, I guess I'm up, huh? Oddly enough, I've got a couple. I'll just throw them quickly because you already kind of did. But I also been spinning some Game Over.
Oh, there you go.
So I just recently picked these 2 up. They weren't real expensive, but about $20 each, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, those are both rippers too.
I picked up, and I've only heard it once, but I'm liking what I heard. I picked up the new Witch Hazel.
I haven't spun it yet, but it just came in.
Yeah, I spun it once, and then it's Thin Lizzy-esque new wave of traditional heavy metal. I mean, it's definitely metal, but there's a huge Thin Lizzy influence in there. All that dull guitar and just the harmonies and stuff like that.
That album sounded very well too.
Then I got a few. We're almost out of time, so I'm just going to throw them quickly. But the new Sodom, which is freaking brutal. It's fantastic.
Sodom hasn't put out a bad album.
I'm still waiting on mine.
It just freaking came in. I played it twice already. It's really good. I hear some. It's what you expect from Sodom, but I swear I hear some Slayer influences on this one more so than any other album. But I don't know why that is. But somebody just said best in Lizzy style band is Chimera. Love the new Sodom. Yeah, the new Sodom is good. Anyhow, all right. And then this is one I just played today. This is their latest. It's not new. It's a few years old now. It's only 1 year old. But I picked up this one was it's like $14 on vinyl right now on Amazon. But this is the third Art of Anarchy album, which is, I don't know what you call it, modern metal with some freaking blazing guitar solos. The Votto brothers, and then Bumblefoot is the other guitar player in the band. And unfortunately, they've had different singers on every album. This one has Jeff Scott Soto on it. The album before this one was Scott Weiland, that was the last thing he recorded before he died. That one's never been on vinyl, but it's getting a vinyl reissue real soon. And then the first album had the guy from Creed, Scott Strapp, is that his name? Yeah, which was my reason for not checking out the band, because I've always just couldn't stand that band, Creed, that is. So I never checked them out.
Wow, that's amazing. They're good. Mark Tremonti is a beast on guitar.
I just don't like I just don't like Creed, and that just never did anything for me. So,
Mhm.
but
Oh,
yeah, these
well,
guys are great
I
on
can tip
guitar.
my hand.
There's just some smoking guitar solos on this thing. It's metal. I mean, it's just, but it's
That's
modern
wi-
metal. It's not,
That's
you know,
a,
it's not like it's not Judas Priest.
That's three completely different vocalists.
Is
That's-
Bumblefoot
yeah.
on all of them?
Bumblefoot's on all of them, and yeah, he produces. Pretty much the band's been solid. It's just the vocalists that they keep changing out. So,
Yeah, he's super underrated on guitar. That guy is great.
and then this thing came out too. I picked it up, but this is this came out 10 years ago. I've had it on CD forever, but it finally came out on vinyl. If you're an Angel fan, this thing's well worth
Is that the
picking
one I
up.
messaged you about, the signed one?
Yeah, I believe you did. I didn't buy the signed one though. I just bought a
Oh,
straight up plain version of it just because it was cheaper. And the guitar work on here is great. A lot of it's done by at least some of the lead work is done by Oz Fox. So, of course, of the names, the band that shall not be named on our program. So, and then I'll show you one more. This one that I've been playing a lot too recently. The new A through Z,
yeah.
which is basically, two of the members of Fates Warning. So it's got a lot of Fates Warning sound to it, but it's definitely very prog rock. But Mark Zonder on drums, which is the Z in A through Z, and then Ray Alder on vocals, which is the A in A through Z. So yeah, this is their second album.
It's on my
Cool cover, too.
list. So,
It's got the
That's a good
alligator with a zipper, and the first album had a zebra with an apple. So clever.
Yeah, and that's
I like
what
it.
stopped me from buying the first one. I saw that album cover. I was like, so I have to check it out.
And I was playing it. I was spinning this today right before the show. Actually, I haven't
there you
spun
go.
this one in a while. Some Vandergraaf generator. So it's very weird stuff. And Vandergraaf, I got to be in the mood for them because they're really weird. I don't know what you call these guys. Prog, psych.
all
Yeah,
over.
they're
Proggy
kinda-
krautrock. It's
yeah,
definitely
krautrock.
in that.
But this is, I think I have 4 other albums on vinyl, and this is the one I tend to pull the most to listen to.
They're
so,
all bizarre.
Yeah,
Very
they're all
bizarre, yeah.
different too. Yeah.
So anyhow,
You good?
so we got time. We got time for one more. Steve, you got any more?
Yeah, I got a few more. Yeah, so I picked
for
up recently. I ran across a couple classics. I have never seen this on vinyl, so I'm glad to finally have it. I only had the CD, but Universe from Dead Brain Cells.
Oh, dude, that is a ripper too.
Speaking of
Yeah, I
Canadian metal,
just played that one too. It's sitting over there.
fantastic album. Another Canadian classic. I've had this on cassette or CD since it came out. It's always been a favorite. Found a promo or an OG promo, Alice in Hell.
Oh wow,
Nice.
Stars.
Is that on Roadrunner?
No, yeah, Road Racer.
Or Road Racer?
Yeah, Road Racer.
Okay.
Same thing.
Cool.
Same
Speaking
difference.
of Canadian again. And then this was an upgrade.
What's up, Ron?
I already had an original of this one, but Game Over from Nuclear Assault.
Oh.
Another 10-star record right there. Didn't get much better. So this one's not a band I'm into, but I was at the record store and I was blown away by how good this is. It's called Looking for Trouble. It's a covers album that the Dead Daisies just released. I know a lot of people that like the Dead Daisies. I haven't liked any of the stuff that I've listened to of theirs, but this is all mostly blues covers, and it's got they cover I'm Ready, Going Down, Boom Boom, Black Betty, The Thrill Is Gone, Born Under a Bad Sign, Crossroads, Sweet Home Chicago, Walking the Dog, and Little Red Rooster. And man, I was blown away listening to this into the record store. And then last but not least, just an all-time favorite of mine. I never thought that I would find an OG pressing, especially one in mint condition for $20. But Sir Lord Baltimore.
Oh wow.
Wow, yeah.
Fantastic album. I probably paid more for the unofficial pressing than I paid for this OG. So that's pretty. Oh, and I showed this last week, but I just want to bring it up again if you guys haven't checked this out. Only Want You for Your Body from Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
This is a 12 out of 10. If you're into doom metal, if you're into high desert or desert rock or desert metal, you should have this record because this is kind of where they get that sound from. So
Red Mesa.
yeah.
You got one more, Kev?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. This finally came. My accuser finally showed up.
Mine didn't.
But I don't know. You know, yeah, I went online yesterday to look for more of these. You can't find them online. I've been looking for a few people, but anyway, then some Evil Army.
Yep, I saw your you did a video on them the other day. I saw. Yeah, sounds
Possessor,
cool.
some Riphobia, some more thrash.
I have that one circled on
That
my.
reminds me of that cover that you did, Scott. What was that band? The Cali Thrash
Man.
band.
The
Let me
latest
see it again.
hazard. It's weird. This has a 2024 release date
Primal?
on the album, but it has a January 17th, 2025 release. Officially.
Anger is art.
No, it's the one from
Musketeers.
like 2001 that you guys did
Musketeers.
alternate cover on with the
Show
guy
that,
in the denim
show that
jacket.
riff album again. What's up, Nick from Australia? Wow, checking in.
Remember you did the one with the guy with the denim jacket with the knife? It's a reissue from like 2001, another thrash band.
Madrost, right?
No, not Madrost. That's
No?
not from 2001.
Musketeers.
No, it's
No,
not.
Musketeers
It's
from
going
the
to come
80s
to
and
all of
90s.
us right when we shut off the stream.
Yep. That's
It's
the
one
way it
that
always
you,
works
it's
out.
one that you did like a year ago on one of the labels that you did. You did the artwork for it.
Oh, I don't remember now. I've done so many, it's hard to remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, you got
That's it.
anything else? You got anything else there, John? Before we
I got a couple more things, and then I'm going to blow your mind with some trivia and give you some homework. Amorphia, the Indian thrash band, and I mean from the country of India.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's pretty cool.
Merciless Strike. I've been spinning that thing on the loop. All their releases are good. You have to buy them. They're Japanese pressings. You have to buy them from a guy in the Philippines, but get them if you can. Ripper. Anybody heard of Ripper?
Mm-hmm.
Experiment in Existence. That's a good one. And Fumes from Toronto. Anything that they have, just grab it. So I was talking to the Hammer today, Henry Vasquez, and he said, how many times have you listened to UFO Phenomenon and Force It? And I said, probably several hundred. And he said, you know who's doing the backing vocals on it? And I said, I don't know, Paul Raymond, or I don't know. He said, James Dewar. Do you know who James Dewar is?
From
The
Robin Trower.
lead vocalist for Robin Trower. So
Yeah.
now I went and I listened to him, and now I can't unhear it. But that's James Dewar. So that's your homework for the week. Is to go listen to UFO Phenomenon and Force It.
Force It.
And listen to the back vocals.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Sure enough.
Yeah, crazy, huh? And I've been listening to those albums since they came out. What, 35 years ago, 40 years ago?
Yep. At least 40
Never
years
knew.
ago. It was just mid 70s, right? So
Yeah.
What makes the world of music so fascinating?
you're talking about the band Ripper from Houston?
I don't know. You know what? I need to do some homework on that. I think they're from Canada or Germany.
I have a Ripper on CD, but I think it's more straightforward heavy metal though.
No, this thing is a full-blown in fact, the record that I have is on Empire Records, which is a Belgian label. So it's got the two R's that are like facing each other. It looks like a thrash logo.
Right on.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
because the Ripper I was thinking about was the same one Kevin's talking about.
Yeah, Experiment in Existence from 2016. And they have newer releases since then, but
There's some UFO trivia for you from Nick. Person on the Force It album cover is Genesis Porridge from Throbbing Gristle.
wow.
Yeah. So
that's like the Tom
cool.
Waits thing.
Fueled by Fire, Scott. I knew it would come to me.
Oh yeah, Fueled by Fire.
Oh yeah. You know what's ridiculous? It's
You
literally
got it right there,
sitting right freaking
right
here.
in front of you. See the guy? Yeah.
Okay, David 665. Let's see. There's a Ripper from Chile.
One
The
from
R's facing
Colombia.
each other. I guess that must be them. Let me look it up real quick because we're so professional. All I know is if you look up that Experiment in Existence, you won't be disappointed. That thing is a freaking
This is
From
free advertising for
2016.
some free
Dude,
advertising for the new
Maybe
three
this
trucks in
fall
black.
You guys still can because this some of the copies are already selling for like $150. So get on Bandcamp and get a copy of the X-Stol if you haven't yet.
Yeah, I got the black vinyl version.
I think that one's still available, but the other ones are already selling for crazy money. So
Of course it is. Everybody always wants the colored vinyl. I didn't even care about the colored
well,
vinyl.
they did limit it. I think they did like 99 of one, like 150 of the other, and so they're pretty smart about it too.
Let's see.
and it's a great album. It's my second favorite album from them. But
Yeah.
now they need to release that what was their thrash album called? That it came out on CD not too long ago.
They need to release all their stuff on vinyl. That's only 2 on vinyl of their full lengths now. I think they've got 1 or 2 singles too on
Synergy. Synergy needs to be out on vinyl. Yeah. I know one of the labels that I work for has requested it multiple times because that one's owned by Century Media, but unfortunately it just hasn't happened yet.
Santiago, Chile. That's where that album was mixed, and so I'm guessing that's the Chilean version. Shannon Fry confirms it.
That album was released in 2016.
Yeah, it is a ripper. Anyway,
Ripper from Houston. That's probably the one that Kevin and I were talking about. Is the one from Houston then?
yeah.
Because I have a CD by. Matter of fact, Kevin gave it to me, so I just listened to it and put it away like last week. Right on. Well, we're a little over time as usual, but no one ever said we were professionals.
Oh no, we are professional, and we're legends in our own mind.
We're professional at something, but definitely not podcasters.
Not being on time.
Yeah. Starting on time either. So anyhow, we appreciate you all watching, man. We had quite a few people watching there for quite a while, so I appreciate it, especially those who hung in till the very end. So that's awesome. So if you want to let me see if I can remember how to do this right again. I don't know. We need a monkey butt back, man. He was good at doing this stuff.
Yeah, excellent.
You can find Steve on YouTube at Harmless Rebel 868. You can find him pretty much anywhere on social media by just looking up Steve Bodine, correct?
Or Harmless Rebel's probably easier.
Yep, or Harmless Rebel. You can find Kevin Colehouse, Old Metal Rocker 66 on YouTube. You can also find him where, Kevin?
Over on Facebook.
Right on. You can find John on Instagram at Carcass John Art and also at
128 DB Rock in the Crypt and on Carcass John's alter ego.
Yep. And you can find me
this week on the Crypt. The triple thrash threat is going to be the quadruple thrash threat, and I'm naming my new Big Four.
Right on.
Tune in for that because we're going to end up in the parking lot. I can already tell by this crowd.
Is Gamicide one of them?
Nope. I got new bands. I got new bands that started kind of in the 2000s, and I just got a whole new and that I understand what the Big Four is all about. I think the Big Four should have included maybe the second wave of the Big Four in the United States should have included Testament, Exodus, Death Angel, and Overkill. That's in the rearview mirror now. These are 4 new bands.
Yep. Well, you can find me on Instagram at No Life Till Metal. You can find me on Facebook under Scott Waters. You can find me on YouTube under Scott Waters or No Life Till Metal. So that's it. So for episode number 274, Metal.
Will.
One of these days we'll get that right and do it all together, huh?
Brandon Baddock next week.